I'm
Muted.
What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to the Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. We are excited. We're feeling good. We're ready to go. Got to get my girl Ken's out in here. I don't know what the heck Greg did here with the screen here a little bit, but
I didn't do anything.
I don't know
Did
what
Greg
you're talking
kick me
about.
out?
I didn't touch it. They don't want 4 people in here.
I guess. Yep. I think.
You have to
I
create
think
your own scene.
I know.
Is this your first time?
No, that's funny. Well, real quick, you know what? Ken's. Oh, Ken's is gone now. Man, she said, forget this. I'm out of here.
Hey, while you talk, I'll set. Oh,
there we go.
There's one.
There we go.
Greg
Now we
kicked
got
me
it.
out.
There we
Greg did
go.
not kick you out.
Now we got it.
What if you
Now
keep
we're
being
all
lippy?
set.
Greg will kick you out.
I'm just kidding.
Awesome. Well, that being
she showed up for her biannual appearance, so now she gets all lippy.
Here we go. What else, guys? Hit me with it. Happy freaking Monday.
Beautiful. And hey, it's always good today too. We got Mama Smith in the chat too, saying what's up to Macon even. So hey, Ma.
What's going on?
Anyway, yeah. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we are excited. We got a lot to talk about. And we're in the middle of March Madness, y'all. And this is beyond just the tournament. There is madness elsewhere. And that is even in the coaching search as well. But we'll definitely get to all things, whether it's talking about the women's basketball draw in the tournament. We'll talk some baseball. We'll definitely talk some NC State coaching search as well, because I know that's some for all of y'all tuning in and for us as well, that we're definitely have a finger on the pulse on for sure. And so excited to get to it. But first and foremost, Macon, man, it's been a bit. I know, obviously, I think this is your second time back on the live show, man, since your little hiatus, we'll call it, of a deal. So First of all, man, I mean, what's your thoughts right now, man? Do you think that where there's a will, there's a Wade?
I would love for there to be where there's a will, there's a Wade. But we'll see what happens. I think I don't get paid the big bucks, and so that's not my call. But I mean, there's honestly a lot of really good options. My first choice would be Wade. I know there's a lot of controversy with some people think, oh, well, he had the whole FBI thing. He's at LSU. I mean, at this point, it sounds bad. I just want to win. I don't care. The only thing I have concern with him now is like, okay, if that's what he was willing to do to get a competitive advantage, what is the next thing he's willing to do to get a competitive advantage? That's kind of like what's going on in my mind. But I mean, at this day and age, everybody's, I don't know, everybody is cheating. He's the one who got caught, and it sounds bad, but I
wasn't doing it right.
I'm not saying win cheat. Let's win by cheating. What he got caught for and in trouble for was or is now legal. So I think his show clause ends sometime this summer. So he's paid his dues. he has won at every level. He's won at he won at McNeese State, turned around in 1 year. He won at LSU, I think, in his second year. He won a conference title. He's obviously won at VCU. I do think he's a winner. The other guys on these boards, I've heard the name Rick Pitino Jr. I've heard the name Justin Gainey. I've heard the name Ryan Odom. I've heard the name Mike White. I really think a guy like Ryan Odom, who has won at the mid-tier levels kind of thing, mid-major, not mid-major, but you get what I'm saying. Like it has a mid-major. Utah State, BCU, UMBC, upsetting UVA #1. Which, by the way, if he were to get hired by Virginia, which there's some rumors out there happening, he beat them at UMBC, embarrassed them. It's like, well, if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing for Virginia. So,
well, in their case, if you can't beat them, go get them, I guess, is the better
right.
way.
Right. And I think Will Wade was in contention last time around for NC State, and he still is because he's still winning. And that's kind of why I like Will Wade. I think he's a young guy. I think he's still like 42 years old, I think was his age.
Yeah.
Mike White he's fine, but doesn't excite me. Justin Gainey's an NC State alum where he is learning right behind Rick Barnes. He's supposedly the Tennessee coach in waiting there, is what I've heard. I think if he is, your third, fourth option, you're in a really good spot at your NC State. The only guy I'm kind of like on is Rick Pitino, and a little bit Mike White, but Rick Pitino just – I'm kind of want to be done with the whole Pitino thing. I know Pitino's a Hall of Fame coach, and he's made St. John's #6. But that's kind of my point with Will Wade, even still, is like, again, what Will Wade got in trouble for is now legal. And, like, nobody cares about Kelvin Sampson and his time at Oklahoma now that he's at Houston and he's winning. Nobody cares.
I didn't even know that.
To some degree. Nobody cares to some degree about Rick Pitino, although his was definitely different. So the people do care. But he's at St. John's, and they're #6 in the country, and nobody.
And there's even more you're missing. There's Calipari. Like he's everywhere he's gone. Yeah. Bill Self. I mean, the list goes on.
Yep.
Like,
yep. I mean, again, I want to coach that
30 years. So
true. I mean, I really do want a coach that wants to come here and leave a legacy. Like I want, a coach that wants to come here and make this his program. I mean, not just, to be a stop or just to be a part of his legacy. Like I want him to come here and leave a legacy, And so a guy like Will Wade, who's a guy that, I think at LSU definitely made an impact, but, I think that, 20, 30 years from now, nobody's gonna be talking about Will Wade, but he can come to NC State and, and as you see with, with Kevin Keats, he's going to be talked about forever, because of one run. But I mean, I think he wishes that he had more to be remembered by, but he's always going to be remembered just because of that alone. And so you say, all right, well, Wade, I mean, you come here and you do, even 3/4 of what we can, what I think you can do, and you're going to leave here, to forever remembered by NC State fans for sure. But also too, as well, I think that, it's really setting up from how everything's been looking that's been publicly shared with the NIL side. I mean, there's not going to be a coach, in my opinion, that's ever has been better equipped for success at NC State than Will Wade or Justin Gainey or whoever does become the next head coach. I mean, Greg, I mean, I see you shaking your head with that. I mean, agree there?
Yeah, there's no doubt that the collective and even the Wolfpack Club has been trying to do all they can to get ready for whoever that new coach is going to be. So they want to set him up with the most success and put him in a position to succeed day one and go get whoever he needs, whether that be coaches, whether that be players, to go out and win championships or at least compete for them.
Now, Ken, see, Rusty asked the question, will the next coach have a GM? I mean, your opinion, do you think that, in today's college environment that a GM is a must if you want to be competitive at the top level?
I mean, I feel like all the big schools are getting them. Like Duke just hired Rachel Baker, I think her name is. So, I mean, I feel like it's just like NIL was new. I think this is a new thing coming up. I think that if Will Wade comes, it'll be, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's like their social media, like, confidant for that team. He's on Twitter a lot.
At McNeese?
Huh?
At McNeese?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I forgot what his name was, but he's like all over Twitter. But I think that our fan base needs a jolt in just passion like we did last year when we were going in. And I think if Will Wade comes, that's definitely going to happen. I've never seen a fan base make a hashtag go viral in 3 days for a coach and get him talking about that on national television. So I'm just hoping it happens. I obviously will support any coach that comes, but like Macon said, I'm just ready to win.
But I also add, like, these coaches, like, nobody's announced anything. I know there's some rumors about Ryan Odom to UVA. Like, that's been announced yet either. Like, it might be Ryan Odom. If it's Odom, like, I'll be fine with that. But all these guys have, decent win percentages. But, I'm looking at Will Wade's got a 70% overall coaching record. And win percentage, excuse me. Ryan Odom's got a 64, round up 64%. Ratino's got the lowest at 57. Mike White's got, again, 63. So, I mean, like, that's why I'm not super big Rich Ratino Jr. guy, but these guys have won. And to me, if it was Odom or if it was Gainey, like, there's concerns with me with those guys that I don't have personally with Wade as much. Wade is the only concern for me is how is he going to be perceived from, the FBI time he had. But he's paid his dues and should be fine now, in my opinion. And it's if it's him or Gainey or Odom, maybe somebody else, Nate Oates from Alabama. No, I'm kidding. It would be yeah. So Sean Miller. Would you guys even entertain the Millers at this point anymore? I heard the name thrown around.
That's what we talked about last week, and it's like we honestly laughed about getting the Miller brothers, Archie and Sean, and then making them co-head coaches, and that'd be fun. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, make these points too, real quick. Right, you mean a GM? Like every time basketball, State's got Andy Vaughn. Like he's basically been doing that for the football team, and I like this is a revolutionary thing. But State already has kind of done that with the football team. If they go do it with the basketball and let the coaches just coach, fine. I don't care. I really don't care how a team does it. As long as you win, that's all I care about. So whatever that system or setup looks like, I'm good with. So go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, the only point I was going to make is the only reason you're hearing the Millers' names again is their beef was more with Debbie Yao, not Boo, not NC State. They just weren't big fans of the whole thing. Plus, the whole when the searches for both Gottfried and Keats got a little contentious because of the people quote unquote trying to sabotage the search, and so I think some of that stuff is blown away. But the way you talked previously, like I don't want anything to do with that. Like you now that you're right, you haven't had the most success, with Miller, both Millers being at Power 5 teams, and now they're kind of both at mid majors. Because now you're trying to revive your career and just using us as a platform to do that. I'm not down for it.
Yep. No, absolutely. So, and I think for me, if you ask me who's, top of the list, I would say Will Wade first option. Then Justin Gainey, I like just because I feel like the age, but also too, like he's a guy that I think makes sense, with his in-state background. There's gonna be a lot of passion and pride behind, this job and making it a success. But also, I think that, I think he's gonna do a great job with connecting with players and building a great locker room culture. And he's a guy that's been proven. And I think that the fact that he is the associate head coach at Tennessee, at a very successful Tennessee basketball program, I think makes a lot of sense. And so give him a shot and let's see what happens. But Carson, what's going on, bud?
Yeah, what's going on? Just got home from IM basketball game, so ready to talk State.
Was Will Wade there?
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
I think he would be the least interested in our 30-point blowout win. But
can I throw another name that's out there that I saw as a betting odds that kind of surprised me? And I don't know if you guys can talk about this, just for the take conversation. High Point University, where I live right now, they got their coach Alan Huss. I saw one place that he was the second best betting odds to be NC State's next coach. Somebody put it out there, like at one point. Alan Huss, he's won 2 regular season championships at High Point, and he just won the Big South championship for the first time ever at High Point.
He could be the second coming of John Wooden, and it wouldn't move the needle for this fan base.
Well,
Like,
exactly.
they want a name. They want it bad.
No,
Like,
They
I don't know,
want
like,
one
who?
person. They painted
He's
the
like a
entire
hoop, and he's a
tunnel.
winner. He's won. So
I mean, I don't know if they can even point out High Point on it. Wait, yeah, we could. We could definitely.
Hey, I lived in Cary, grew up in Cary. I didn't even heard of High Point until I was like late in high school. Everybody was applying to High Point. So
Hey,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful arena though. Like, have you I don't know if you ever been in there. I'm
Oh,
assuming you
sure.
have. Oh, it's like
yeah,
gorgeous.
Cubain
Yeah.
Center. So anyway, it's
Yeah.
random. Sort of our topic, but
Yeah.
Alan
No.
Huss. I was like, it was some. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who the first name was, but then it was Alan Huss, and I was like, who? Really? So, but he's a winner. So it's random. Another guy to kind of mention.
No, we don't want any more winners, right?
Yeah, we don't like
Yeah.
that.
He's not self-proclaiming himself as a winner, though. Let's put it that
There
way.
you go. There you go.
We'll just assume it, Coach.
Yeah, please, whoever the new
in,
coach is, don't come in and say I'm a winner. Just say I'm
we're
coming.
gonna
here
assume it,
to compete.
and we appreciate
And
it.
try to be a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Chilton agreeing with moi saying Wade 100%, but do love Gainey too. Love that.
My only thing with Gainey, and we kind of talked about this last week, is this another coming of Sidney Lowe? And I know he
That's
didn't have
what I was
the acclaim of Sidney Lowe, right? Like he didn't win a championship, but we God forbid he comes if he were to be the head coach, he comes out wearing a red blazer. Like that would be like the kiss of death, right?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be I think he's gonna be a really good coach. I just would like to see if he does ever come to state that it's not his first job. Like he needs to come here seasoned.
Yeah.
So would
Sidney
you-
Lowe basically was an NBA assistant for forever
Right.
until he came to
Right.
state.
Right.
So it really does sound like to me, Greg, that, I mean, like, does this kind of seem like a lot of your chips are in the Will Wade basket right now, it seems?
If you read the tea leaves and the tea leaves are correct, yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, there's no other way you can read it. If you believe all the so-called experts out there, the Pack Prides, the Inside Pack Sports, Wolf Packer, whatever the On3 one is, I don't remember what they are, but
Yeah.
they all seem to believe it's him. And if you believe that people can track airplanes in the middle of the air and where they locate and where they go, it certainly seems that he is the leader in the clubhouse.
I mean, I'm getting a little more like I was liking the noise all around it, but it's gotten quiet since the whole Indiana going after Clemson.
Burn your time for
thing.
McNeese State, though.
Well, and that's just it. Like a lot more is not going to be done right now. Like these guys are in game week prep mode. It's just last week was when all the hubbub happened. Now it's just the quiet before the storm, and now we just see how these teams play.
We're just hoping Clemson. Do we want Clemson to win a lot, or do we want them to lose? So Indiana doesn't want it.
Just beat McNeese, and then we'll go from there.
I don't know what to do.
Well, and if you believe what people are saying out there, it's not Brownell up to Indiana. Like he's not. I know there's some troll sites out there that are saying it, but you have to kind of weed through all that mess. But it doesn't sound like he's even a candidate. Plus, Clemson just extended him, and so his buyout's like $8-9 million now, and then you still got to pay him. Now I know IU's got better financial situations than NC State, but still, that's a hefty chunk of change to where we talked about it for 6 years. He didn't even make the tournament.
But let's be real, though. I truly do believe that if because I'm sure, there'll be some stats that come out in terms of what was the most viewed, highly viewed round one games. And I think just because of the amount of NC State fans that are going to watch this Clemson McNeese game alone, that it's probably going to be top 5, probably. It's gonna be pretty high.
Those four teams right there, that little region there in the Midwest with Purdue, High Point, Clemson, I know it's at High Point, but like they playing Purdue, who State played earlier this year and lost 5-2 last year. It's a team that's been North Carolina for the first time ever in the tournament. McNeese State is a coaching candidate that you might hire, and Clemson the ACC. And I think if you're an NC State fan, you're probably pulling for Clemson out of the ACC in this tournament, because I'm not pulling for UNC or Duke, and then it's Louisville or Clemson. So I think that's going to be a really fun little region there. I don't know where they're playing exactly, but
I think Clemson was slightly underrated or underseeded. I felt like it should have been a 4.
Yeah, no, 100%. But again, it goes back to Greg again. I've said the whole season, man, Clemson has been been not given the love they've deserved.
Well,
this season.
Louisville didn't either. I mean, how the heck
Louisville
do you
should
give
not
them
be
an 8?
Yeah, Louisville should be like a 3 or 4 seed.
I was thinking like a 4 or 5 at the worst.
Yeah, they were completely disrespected.
I mean, you're. I think they were. What did they finish like 17, 18 in the final poll, and so that's top 25. Do the math. Do the divided by 4. That's no worse than a 6 seed.
No, 100%. Don't disagree, but listen, we could talk about a lot of things, but I think on behalf and first of all, too, I want to put this question in the chat, and I'm curious, and we'll come back around to this. But from a scale of 1 to 10, y'all, how excited would you be with the Will Wade hire? 10 being super insanely excited, 1 being, nah, I'm good. But with that being said, though, I want to move on.
Varsity Blues,
of course.
10. It's a 10.
I love it. But on behalf of America, I'm going to press this button. I think this pretty much summarizes America over the last 24 hours.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You don't even have to say anything else.
Yeah, there's no explanation.
And that is this BS right here, y'all. UNC getting
God.
in the tournament. I'm telling you. And listen, here's the thing is I think honestly, like state fans overall, like I would say from some of the reactions I've seen, some of the reactions I've heard from other people that are not state fans, they're much more pissed off about bugged about it than I am. I'm sitting here
the
like
national media.
Yeah, dude, like ESPN is blowing up about it, and nobody's saying, "Oh, like UNC should have got in." Nobody's saying that. Nobody. And of course, us as state fans, we're saying
because it's common sense. Like it's common sense. They shouldn't have got it. If 99% of America is saying something and the 1% is your fan base trying to back you up, you're probably not in the right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see
how it is?
Part of my take actually had the governor of West Virginia on today because Russ was just going in there. Like West Virginia is suing the NCAA. It's
what
I mean,
UNC was 1 for 12 in quad 1 wins.
At this point, what is the point of? So you just should make a hard ass schedule, strength of schedule, and then everybody gets in, whether you win or lose. Is that how it's like being viewed now? Like that's stupid.
Well, the stat that
didn't they lose to Stanford in Chapel Hill?
They did bad.
They did.
Yeah.
But they killed it in the quad 2. I guess I'm looking here. Everywhere else except quad 1, they had 1 loss. Quad 2, 3, 4 combined 1 loss.
Yeah, but now do their record. Now do their record against tournament teams.
Oh, the tournament teams? I don't know.
It's not good. I think it was 2 and 15, 2 and 16.
2 and 10.
They won 2. They won 2, and 1 was against American.
It was 2 and 10.
2 and 10. Was that what it was?
Yeah. And
West Virginia was 3 and 5.
Ooh. Yeah.
So they penalized West Virginia, and again, you could either argue West Virginia or Indiana. Like I know Boise State has a little bit of beef, but they're a mid-major. You're going to fight that uphill battle all day. But so if you just look at the West Virginia, and I'm just going to take West Virginia for instance because that's the one I've done the most looking at. They literally, the Bubba said they are penalizing them essentially for their guy being out. Like player availability.
And like they still won. Hold on. Beat Kansas.
He went out in November. It wasn't like he just went out last week.
That's trying to get his team in is what that is.
Well,
correct. And now
go
ahead, Kens. Go ahead. I've been talking.
It's just that whole argument itself is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Saying that he comes out flat out and says, "I left the room." That does not matter.
Well, he can still go.
That's what I'm saying. You've been with this man for a week. 1, 2, he's gonna come back in, and he's gonna be like, "So, guys,
I'll do the opposite of that.
What's the word?
I'm not gonna lobby for my team, but this is why I think West Virginia shouldn't be in. This is why I think Indiana shouldn't be in. This is why I think Ohio State. You get where I'm going here.
So, but look at who they're matched up with. So I was looking at that. So they were matched up with. I know they're a playing game. And I don't know about San Diego State. I mean, I know San Diego State a couple years ago went to a national championship game, but they play against Ole Miss. And I saw some guy, I don't know if it was Barstool Sports, they were doing the podcast, or actually, take it back, it was CBS. It was right after they announced. Guy was previewing the bracket, and he gets that matchup, and he looks up, he says, I think Ole Miss is a fraud. Is exactly what he says. They paired UNC up with Ole Miss. I mean, if they really think it's a fraud, like I don't know. I think some of that is Bubba helping his school out. Now, can you blame him? No, but is it the right thing to do?
I have 100,000 reasons why Bubba helped his school out.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know how you let a
1,000 to be exact.
if they're like, an average to above average team, but they can't even beat the best teams. Like one team out of the whole season, quad one, was UCLA. They lost to, and I have it pulled up here. They lost to. I'm reading off of actually inside Carolina's 24/7 page. Kansas, Auburn, Michigan State, Alabama, Florida, Louisville, Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Duke, Clemson, Duke, and Duke. They lost. Duke.
I mean, hell, we beat Wake Forest and Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be in if that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and again, because
Kansas.
Well, I think this is honestly, and because I think the reason why a lot of people are losing their minds is this is one of the first situations I can think of where somebody actually scheduled their way in. Like a lot of times, a lot of cases you hear of are like teams that go 30-3, but they had a terrible schedule, but they get in over a team who's 23-13, but played Kansas and whatever, and then people lose their minds. Like that happens all the time. But this is actually the opposite.
I mean,
somebody really scheduled their way in.
Well,
unpopular opinion. The one thing that should have kept them out of the tournament altogether is that dumb lane violation they did. That right there should show you they're not a tournament team. Like that's fundamental basketball.
I feel for him though.
So I don't. He chose them over us. Bye. Cry. Like,
dang.
I don't care.
Well, real quick, and Greg, I think this will go to your point here. I want to jump on over some tweets of the week to bring up.
We've already spent 5 minutes longer than we should have on this topic.
No, well, this will just kind of swing the hammer on this subject.
I said that. Yeah.
Yep. How about NC State, UNC athletic director Bubba Cunningham making an extra $104,000 for the Go Heels, making the NCAA tournament. So literally by himself, he now UNC made just a little bit over $104,000. So that's
here's the last thing to think about too. Why they made it? Not that I'm saying that they should have made it, but another reason was there just wasn't any bid stealers this year. It was pretty flat when it came to teams making the tournament. No major conference upsets, in those one bid leagues. And so you just kind of saw, it was like, okay. And then, if UNC probably, if they lose in the first round of or their first round game in Charlotte, or don't win the second game, this is probably done too. And then the fact that I saw tweets that said, well, they hung with the number one team in the country.
Without Cooper Flag.
Yeah, it was without their best player. Like, come on. Like, just take your bid, be happy, shut the F up, and go. Like, just go lose in the first round like we all think you're going to do. I'm sorry. Not even first round. First four.
Right. You're not even in the 64 yet. So, yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm getting pissed all over again for
I almost swore.
It is worth talking about a little bit, but it's like,
let's be real though. I think we're more likely to see a meteor hit the earth before we see only one Tobacco Road team make the tournament.
Yeah,
I will say this, and I think I kind of mentioned it last week. We need Will Wades. We need Ryan Odoms back in the ACC to kind of bring that profile up, if you will. Like, these teams need to reevaluate. And I know that was one of the things that Commissioner Phillips I think talked about on one of his calls, or that back in Charlotte last week, is like he told him to take a real hard look at basketball. So it's kind of funny. Like a few years ago, it was like, okay, I need you to focus on football. We need to get better at that. Then we really didn't, other than kind of Clemson and sort of Florida State for just like a year or two. And now he's like, well, actually, now I want you to go back to basketball. And we talked about it. These teams need to figure out what they're going to be good at, and then put all your eggs in that basket and go do that.
I think the SEC got like 14 some teams.
It's a record. 14. Yeah. It's a record.
Yeah. So if State had, it's embarrassing for the ACC this year, which is even why it was so crazy that State was so bad this year. But yeah, I mean, like you could you talk about like, well, maybe we should just go pivot to basketball, but like, I don't know.
Well, Steve Smith said it.
The money is going to have to. The SEC issues to me, it's the writing's on the wall for them in a few years. But I mean,
it honestly, I mean,
dominant in football and get 14 teams in the tournament. Like, I get it's a down year and a really great year for them.
I mean, right now, I mean, the SEC's got their foot on the neck of all of college sports right now. I mean,
It just
like
means more.
It just it does, and I mean, in all aspects. I mean, it's honestly insane. You're like, and that's a great point, making great point. It's embarrassing for the ACC, no doubt. So,
look at
all right,
great points on his second time back. Let's go, Macon.
Let's go. I'm so proud. Good to have him back. So, with that being said, though, let's jump on over to the women's side, shall we? Let's have a little bit of fun there. First of all, we'll talk about this here a little bit, but I do want to ask, like, it was who? How many people were honestly shocked that Notre Dame got a 3 seed?
I was
too. I was shocked. I'm not surprised, but I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And because they've had a rough go for sure the last 3 weeks, I would say for sure. Last month.
They were number 1 like 2 or 3 weeks before
we beat them.
Yeah,
we broke Notre Dame, man. We broke Notre Dame. Freshman.
Yeah.
We really did.
So who's the 1 seed in our side of the bracket?
UCLA.
Okay.
Which I think is
that is the worst possible matchup you want.
Yeah, for us because they got a big and
LSU.
We got filled up.
But they're way on the other side. We'll have to see them until later on. So
yeah, but LSU's in there as well. So
but LSU's been struggling.
Yeah, but still, if we play LSU, you got to lock in for that game.
Yep.
Well, but it'd be a rematch. So I think that's one thing that I like about it is
neutral court, right?
Neutral court and season rematch. Yep. So I mean, let's put it this way. I definitely feel good to the Elite Eight, and then obviously once we face UCLA, it's going to be just we need a perfect game. We need a perfect game. So
Tilda's going to need to have the game of her season at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Scroll down for me.
She will.
Oh yeah, we believe in Tilda. She's gonna do what she did with Notre Dame. Ball out.
Mm-hmm. Just control as much as you can. Limit the damage. That's all you can do.
That's what I liked seeing in the ACC tournament. She's gotten more aggressive than she was in the regular season. In the regular season, you wouldn't see her go for a rebound. Now she like gets in there with the girls and does it.
I know Wes is going to be I know Wes in the past week or so. Wes has been really working on rebounding because
oh god, because literally seeing him at the Duke game, he was livid on the side.
I don't think we got a single rebound in the third quarter of that game.
I think we scored 3 points that third quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
They out rebounded us by 20.
No, I think we legit scored 3 points against Duke third quarter.
Yeah. I believe it. I 100% believe
I mean, Isaiah going out just took all the momentum out of state.
I'm looking from that.
Well, but again, focusing on this, I mean, first of all, NC State opened up as an 18.5-point favorite over Vermont. And then I mean, so it really comes down to Carson, how do you feel about Michigan State being the presumed second game matchup for NC State at Reynolds Coliseum? Like, do you think that it's a formidable matchup, or do you think that this is one you go in feeling pretty confident?
I think this is one you go in feeling pretty confident, especially with how Tilda's been playing a lot lately. I think this is like one of those games a few years ago. I think we played like Kansas State in the tournament where we had Kinane. I think it's one of those games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Michigan State.
I was wrong. It was 10 points in third quarter. So there you
go. Go ahead, Greg.
At the first look, Michigan State was a 4 seed, so they've dropped a lot. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. Now, 2 of those were against USC and UCLA, so you can kind of let that slide a little bit.
Sure.
They did take an early exit out of their Big Ten tournament against Iowa. They were upset by them. And then by the time they play Harvard on Saturday, they will have had 16 days since they last played a meaningful game. So you might see a little craziness there. I'm not saying that anything's going to happen, but if it does, it wouldn't shock me at this point. But they are their highest seed since I think like 2012. This is the highest seed they've been That last time they were a 4 seed. So a little bit uncharted waters for this team, but they are a very good team. And the Big Ten is no joke. Like if you had to compare, I would say the Big Ten's probably the number 2 conference in women's basketball. If I had to just kind of throw at it, I think ACC is the best, but I know SEC has got some there, but you have 2 number 1s in USC and UCLA, and you've got Oregon and you've got Michigan State, and you've got a good contingency of Big Ten teams in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, with the SEC, other than South Carolina, Texas, and
Right.
LSU,
right?
I mean, everyone else is sort of just there. I mean, Alabama's I think pretty decent. I think Ole Miss is pretty decent, but
we beat them.
Yeah, I mean, but you have 3 very clear teams that are just way better than everyone else.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys, and I'll ask for your input one-on-one or one at a time. So Kens, and here I'll bring this down because we don't need the bracket for necessarily this question. So assuming that we take care of business and get to Elite 8 versus UCLA, where would you rank a win over UCLA versus last year's 2 big wins over Stanford and Texas? Would you say it'd be the biggest win over the last 2 years between those 3 pretty big wins?
I mean, the fact that they're the overall 1 seed, I think that, that would probably be our biggest win. I think the only reason people would say last year is because not many people had as much hopes riding on this team last year like we do this year. So it was we were proud that they could go back to back and do stuff like that. But we're expecting it this year. We're expecting Azaya and Sanaya to take what happened in the ACC tournament and use that as fuel again, like they did last year. But I think with all the talk around UCLA, that would kind of be like South Carolina last year, where it was they're the top dogs that you want to beat. And if you beat them, you're one of the top dogs. So to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I think that if we beat UCLA, then we could definitely be in the talk. Because listening to the selection show yesterday just shows again, NC State is not given the respect it deserves. Multiple people on the selection show were talking about other teams in our bracket or on our side of the bracket. And it's these people don't realize we just went to the Final Four. We just beat Notre Dame. We're a powerhouse too, but it's just we don't get as much shine as these other programs do. So I'm hoping these girls use that as fuel and go out there and ball out. So I think if they do beat UCLA, they'll be the talk of the town. I feel like they'll be the team to beat, and I think they can do it if we don't get in foul trouble, because I think that was our biggest problem in the ACC tournament. Everybody's got to be healthy. Everybody's got to be ready. And I think after what happened watching Wes, I think he's going to get them kicked into gear before the tournament starts.
Well, Macon, I think Kens did a phenomenal job there. Anything you would add to that?
No, I think Mackenzie killed it there. I mean, being the number 1 overall seed for beating a win like that would be pretty awesome. I think beating those 2 teams last year, to get to where we got to, was huge. I don't know. I think individually beating any one of those teams compared to being the UCLA team this year would be a bigger win. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add with that. They're just really good.
Yeah.
And I guess my question I would ask then, maybe you guys who know more about it than I do, is anybody on UCLA side you see as being the biggest threat to beating UCLA before they were to meet up with us?
Pull up the bracket.
Yep, I got you.
Is it Georgia Tech sneaky enough to beat them kind of thing? Yeah, I mean,
Georgia Tech's just been really inconsistent.
Ole Miss, I think, is pretty good, so Ole Miss is up there. So I just don't.
Yeah, someone's got to have a big. Someone's got to have a big to neutralize their big, or at least play on par.
The big we're talking about is Lauren Betts. So
yes, yes. Georgia Tech's not bad. They definitely gave us some games. They gave us the game in the ACC tournament. We blew them out in the regular season.
But they also shot. I mean, they shot literally the best game they could ever possibly shoot.
Yeah. Right. So again, if you go out and shoot the best game possible, 3 is more than 2. So if you do enough of those, the math works out pretty well in your favor.
Yeah.
For me, I think this tournament, this format sets up better than the ACC. We were just out of legs because of the way Wes runs his bench. He has a very short rotation. And I just think that in that Duke game, you could just tell we were up early, and then it just we just didn't have legs to make shots. We weren't getting rebounds. Like we were just losing out on mental things. And I think when you have physical fatigue, then that's when your mental fatigue also kicks in. So I think we'll be in better position. And then you asked where it ranks. I would even, this is going to be a little crazy, but I would rank it 1974 when the men beat UCLA. Now, obviously, the women in UCLA haven't won all those titles in a row, but they're coming in as very, very big favorites. And it's not what are you doing, Macon? What are you doing to me?
Greg? What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
That was the first national champion. That was the first national championship we won. Are you crazy?
We didn't beat UCLA to win the championship, though.
Well, we beat them in the semifinals and the final
Correct.
four to win the championship. I know that, but
yeah, so we beat them on the way to a championship. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
See,
but they
Greg,
had won
Lincoln is a
how
fan.
many national championships before
Again,
then?
told you it's a little crazy. Right?
Oh, there's
I just
little,
need you to
Greg.
stick with me, Macon. Stick with me. You know how I go on these crazy
Wait for the
tangents.
process. Wait for the
Yeah.
process.
Let it play out.
We'll take this a little bit.
No, I just think it would be. I think it would be slightly bigger than last year beating Texas. Just because of the way UCLA is being viewed this year, vice Texas last year.
Well, and Carson, to build off of Greg's point there, if
It
you
wasn't
were
a point. Let's be real. It wasn't a good point.
okay, if to build off Greg's take, there we go.
We should
Build off Greg's take.
Better.
Greg.
Yeah. if you were Vegas, what would you put the line at if UCLA and NC State faced each other tomorrow?
Like just money line?
No. Spread points. Like how I'm assuming you'd have UCLA favored, and by how much?
I would have UCLA favored. I would say probably like 5.5.
Ooh,
See, I'm
lower
thinking
than
like,
I thought.
Yeah, I was thinking like 8 or
Eight.
8. Yeah, I was thinking like 8
Yeah.
points, like a little less than a double-digit favorite, if I were to guess.
But to Carson's point, it's a neutral court, so that does take away from some of it. But yes.
Sure, but still, I mean, like honestly, for me, here's my thing, and I know we kind of talked about this before. That Sanaya, in my opinion, is one of the best driving basketball players in women's basketball. You haven't really seen a lot of that from her, in my opinion. If we're gonna beat UCLA, you need Sanaya going at Lauren Betts all night long. Get her in foul trouble.
Yep, agreed.
Get her in foul trouble. Like in my opinion, that's going to be the path of least resistance. You got to get her in foul trouble.
I think
Go
the
ahead.
I think
guys.
the X factor too is this is it. This is it for Sanaya. This is it for Madison. This is it for Isaiah. Like there's no
It
tomorrow.
makes me so sad.
I know it's crazy.
I
You
hate that.
I think you can almost, man. I think you have to argue this group is better than the group with Cunane, and I know Perez wasn't here the full time, but and like
They're just so much. They're so much fun to watch.
So I don't know.
I
mean,
had they won the ACC, I think you could probably definitely make that argument. But you're right. I think
Yes.
you're right. I think you're right.
I mean, did that team make it? They won 2 ACC championships, didn't they?
Cunane won 3. You had Perez on the tail end of that, winning 2.
Okay, because I was about to say, I mean, we made it to 2. So
yeah.
Well, so I'm trying to look back here. It's something that I can watch later. Not talk about right now, but just Lauren Betts being the center for UCLA. We're all talking about she's the reason that UCLA is so good. I'm just looking at some games she did not play well in, and some maybe we can go back and watch. But 2 that stand out to me would be the Oregon and the Minnesota games for UCLA. So I'm going to go back and check out because she had 6 points against Minnesota and 9 points against Oregon. None of them.
How many fouls did she have? Did she have foul trouble in those games?
Let me look here.
Interestingly, too, Minnesota has a former NC State player in Sophie Hart.
Minnesota had 3 fouls. She had 3 fouls, and Oregon she had 4. So she did get into some foul trouble there a little bit. But 6 points, 9 points, that's not foul trouble. That's just not having a good night. So it did something. But
what did Sophie Hart do in that game against Minnesota? When she plays for Minnesota? I'm just curious.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Again, I think for me, let's put it this way. I think honestly, like there's a really fine line between meeting expectations, disaster, and just party like it's 1974. Like literally, because I mean,
you're on board. You're on board.
I am on board. Well, yes, because I do agree that like just because of this team, because of like just like Carson, just like we're all saying, like it's like it's literally our it's the opposite, like
Mhm.
it's literally the worst case scenario in terms of matchup for us.
It is.
But because I mean, like I think that everybody expects to make it to Sweet 16. I think that anything like if we lost in Reynolds, that would be disaster, just like worst case.
Yeah.
But then if we lost to LSU, that'd be disappointing, for sure. But then if you beat LSU, then you're happy, and then basically the rest is gravy, in my opinion.
I'll bring up 2 quick points. Number 1, number 2 has never lost to 15 in women's basketball, so that's number 1.
Good point. Okay.
Number 2, I'm thankful that we will be playing LSU out in Spokane, not down in Alabama. So that's
a great point.
So that's big, right?
A really
anyone that
neutralized sport for
really
you.
neutral, correct. So there's some, there's
everybody's
some
going
positivity
to
to
travel for that game, kind of thing.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll say this again about UCLA, or now about UCLA. I just looked up their stats in both of their losses. Both were to USC.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first game, Juju Watkins had 38 points. In the second game, she had 30. And so that tells us that
Isaiah,
you need to have,
go off.
yeah, if we play UCLA, Tilda needs to play really good on the inside, but you also need Isaiah to just have the game of her life.
What and again,
because I can see it that she can do it and she doesn't, and that just bothers me.
Right.
So,
and again, of the 4 guards that we have, Isaiah is the one screaming that can do it for sure. And I mean, I think she's going to right. And I mean, I think she's going to come into this tournament with a huge chip on her shoulder. I mean, so that's why I'm honestly really excited about this tournament, because I'm hoping, just like you were saying, Greg, like you're going to see Sanaya unlocked. You're going to see Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, Sanaya had the flu in the ACC tournament. So, I mean, none of our
drive
girls...
to the basket, Sanaya. Get to that basket. Come on. Like, let's go. So,
come on.
And Madison Hayes, sink some threes. Let's go. So, yeah.
Anybody have any thoughts on the number 1 overall seed? I know USC's
UCLA
coach
versus USC.
Well, yeah. I mean, USC's coach had some thoughts about that.
She said it was the first time she felt like she was the number 1 seed and felt dissed, basically. I think her assistant coach, Lindsay Gottlieb, said that.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately, like, you have to value a head-to-head matchup in a very serious manner. And like it has to be screaming elsewhere, in my opinion. But I mean, the fact that you have a head-to-head and UCLA won, I get it. Yes, it was early.
But USC won 2-1 though.
Say again.
Didn't USC beat UCLA the other times? Isn't that what you just said, Carson?
Yeah,
South Carolina.
USC beat both teams.
South Carolina is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
You're talking about that USC. Sorry, we're talking Southern Cal.
Oh, well, in terms of Southern Cal being a 1 seed.
No, the overall number 1 seed. That's
they lost Southern Cal twice, but you're late talking about South Carolina.
Right. Well, because isn't that really the 2 main teams that were getting talked about for the number 1 overall seed?
Didn't UCLA get the number 1 overall seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And South Carolina. Those were the 2 teams that were talked about for the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah, but USC.
All right, please stop saying USC.
Southern Cal. Southern Cal. I mean, it literally says USC.
No, you just stop saying USC for South Carolina.
Thank you. It literally says USC in the rankings. It says South Carolina in the rankings.
Sorry,
sir, you need to get your stuff together.
USC, you know where a small percentage of my heart lies. All right, so
I know South Carolina.
Well, you need to tell Boo to get over it for the next 20 minutes while we finish the show.
Oh my god, that was
so
great.
Anyway,
storm over there, Greg, and rip your head off.
Anyway, does anyone think why Southern Cal did not get the number 1 overall seed? Like, I think they had a legitimate beef, like why they should have been the overall number 1. I don't know how you come to any other conclusion.
They lost to more teams. I mean, when you look at UCLA, they only lost to 1 team. USC lost to more teams, and so that might be a contributing factor.
But you literally beat the head-to-head team like multiple times.
I mean, are we really after the tournament selections? I don't even try to understand anymore.
The women's are the worst, to be honest with you. Like the men's pretty bad, the women are even worse. Like
yeah,
because they try to do crazy things with they try to regionalize it a little bit, so they try to cut down on some of the travel, and it's not always like a true.
Let's not get into that, Greg.
What's that?
Well, it's like, yeah, save on travel. Yeah, UConn really saved on travel.
I'm just saying.
So.
I'm just saying. I mean, look at Maryland. They sent Norfolk State to Maryland. Like, that's an easy trip, right? They do these types of things in women's basketball, much like they do in baseball. They do the same thing in college baseball, where they just try to cut down on the travel because the NCAA wants to make more money.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Shocker, right?
Hey,
Mind blown. How about baseball? Well, the last thing I'll say about women, I would be very excited about a Duke versus UNC Elite Eight matchup. That'd be
Sweet 16.
Cool. Sorry, Sweet 16? No, is it?
Yeah, Duke's the 2 seed.
Sweet 16 to Elite Eight. Yep. Yeah. No, you're right. But
this is what happens when you call USC USC.
Right. Point taken. But anyway, though, so yes, let's jump.
See right there, Connie coming in, crushing it.
Mm-hmm. If head-to-head was worth anything, we would not be co-champions with Notre Dame for regular
I think she
season.
just made more Leighton's argument, so whatever. Thanks, Connie. No, just kidding. No, it's true though. It's true. But it should matter. It absolutely should matter. You should get like bonus points for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, Greg, I do got something that you know
what really grinds my gears?
And that is, man, we have been absolutely screwed and just hoodshanked from many innings of NC State baseball this season, man. Over all these run rule games, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of run rule games.
Ending 2 innings early, and you have 2 of those games this weekend. So literally, this weekend there's 3 games and 4 innings are missing from the box score, my man.
I should get a discount on my ticket. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I mean, you said it, not me. I mean, that's a phenomenal question, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's all about player safety.
Yeah. Even though we still had to pitch our and find a way out of that 14-run inning versus Virginia Tech.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is the Doak scoreboard, which is brand new from, I think this is like the second year of it. I think maybe third year. I can't remember.
Second year.
Yeah, it can't even put a 14 in that box. Like it really just had a 4. It just had a 4.
Oh,
like you had to guess that there was a 14 in there.
hilarious.
Which I'm okay with because then it didn't look as bad on that box, but the other box. Man, 14 runs in an inning. That's
rough.
You won the series. You won the series.
We did, and we won 3 out of 4 last week. So that was a good thing. We beat up on A&T. And then we took 2 or 3 from Virginia Tech. So I will take that. I will take winning 4 games every week.
Well, and Ken, just to point out too, I mean, we've won 2 series last 2 weekends. The team right down the road, started off, and all UNC fans were saying, "Hang the banner, here it comes."
Yeah,
just put it right there. It's going to look beautiful.
Yep.
And now they've lost 2 weekend series in a row.
Since starting 10-0, they've kind of done a little bit of a nosedive.
Who they lost to? Who's that?
Stanford and
Cal. Did they lose to Cal?
Oh, the West
No.
Coast.
No.
Who did they lose to?
Louisville.
Yes, Louisville this weekend. Stanford the first weekend. That's what it was. Yep.
So definitely not 2 great losses for sure.
And we play both of those teams, though. We still play both of those teams, so that could come back around and bite us.
Sure. But as of now, how it looks for sure, definitely not great. So yeah. I mean, so Ken's. I mean, it's. I mean, are you still leaving this weekend feeling pretty excited about the season, rejuvenated for the season?
Yeah, I mean, I was never really focused on the first week anyway. I mean, that's how a lot of beginning of the seasons are for teams. But I mean, we had the same type of start last year and ended up in the College World Series. So I wasn't really looking much into it. I believe in Elliott Avent. I believe in these guys. I knew that it was going to be a bounce back. That one Virginia Tech game kind of, when I looked at the score 1 minute and then came back 20 minutes later, I was like, oh, okay. But it's
what the heck? Yeah.
I mean, that's going to happen in games. Sometimes you're just not hitting like other teams are. Some days you're off. That's just how baseball is. And so I'm still as excited for the season as I was before the season started.
Well, unfortunately, Ken's hitting ain't going to help you prevent 20 runs getting put up on the board for Virginia Tech, unfortunately.
I know, but if you hit 25.
That's one way to do it.
I mean, I'm a Braves fan, and we're not doing too good right now. So
I think some of that, they got to a point where they just let the Wimbish stay in, and I know he gave up six runs, but I didn't think he played that bad or pitched that bad. I thought they pulled Marone early. I know he given up some runs, but
yeah,
I think he could have settled in. I think he only threw like 59 pitches. And we had a lead when he left, or I think we were down, but then we ended up tying it. We were up. Here's the crazy thing people don't realize: we were up 6-4 in that game, and going into the
That's
sixth,
where I
it was
stopped
tied
watching it.
6-6. Yeah, it was 6-6 in the sixth. But look, that was the loss. Like, it was a doubleheader. It's really hard to sweep a doubleheader. I did think we were going to have the advantage in that, just because we had blown through a lot of their pitching in the first couple of games. So there was that aspect of it, but Friday started off really, really well. Another solid outing by Fritton. I think he ended up throwing 7 innings, and so you'll take that. We beat their ace, Winfro, and he's a pretty good pitcher. Guys just hit the ball like crazy. DeCrisio still hitting really well. Lamphere had a couple of nice hits. Sosa had some hits. McHugh had some hits. Yeah, it was good. I mean, you go out and score 11 runs in ACC play, you're going to take that. And so that was great. And then Heath Andrews on Saturday threw a really nice game, and you got some home runs. You had Havner with 3 RBIs in the second game. He had a 2-run shot, and he had a nice sack bunt. And then Luke Nixon hits a home run late in the game. I thought we did some really good things.
Yeah. Now
I'm excited. I'm excited for this week.
Yeah,
another good week.
Well, and we'll get to it. But Carson, I want to ask you. Chilton says bullpen is making him nervous.
But Schaff was really good on Saturday. I mean, he's pitched really well out of the bullpen. Got his 3rd win of the season. So I'll take that. He was really good.
Yeah. So Carson, what are your thoughts on that statement?
Yeah, I interviewed Coach Avent. Think it was last Friday, and he said that the main thing that he wanted to get good was pitching. Mm-hmm. Right, he said that he wanted to get that good right before ACC play started. And yeah, because I feel like hitting is going to come just a lot more naturally as you build confidence. But pitching needs to get better.
That's Ken's. I have no doubt that's Ken's.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to create some good audio here, Ken. You're killing me.
I didn't know you could hear it.
Of course.
Bro, it's right by the microphone. Like, ding, ding.
Can I
get it? You're popular.
No, it's a group chat.
She's probably got a remote that she just keeps hitting. So
you're right. I'm a loser, Greg. Tell everybody.
Oh. Anyway, sorry, Carson.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Carson. That was rude. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm going to mute myself.
Well, you could just turn it off.
It's connected to my phone, Greg.
Literally turn the phone off.
But it'll still come through my computer. It's
right,
in my computer.
Not doing this. Children, stop.
That's what I'm saying. The texts are coming through my computer. My phone is on silent.
Oh, boy. Carson, go ahead, good sir.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'm not too worried about hitting. I feel like just as they go along the season and build confidence, that it'll just naturally get better. Just they need to focus on pitching. They need to get consistent.
Yep. Well, and again, and I think for me, this is where Chrysler makes his money right here. Just get this locked in. Anyway, we'll keep it going. So that being said, making just looking at this upcoming matchup here against Pitt this weekend, we just came off of a series loss to Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia, 2-1, losing game 1, 10-1, losing game 2, 11-1, but then coming back and avoiding the sweep, winning 12-10. So very interesting that Pitt gave up at least 10 runs in all 3 games.
Yep. I think, Pitt's the middle of the ACC kind of team right now. They are, they're not, the biggest brand school for us. I think we can get a good series win here. This should be a good one. This is the kind of series we need to take.
Take care of business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely going into it, we're going to be favorited for sure in probably all 3 games.
You're an ass, Greg. He just texted me to try to get my computer to go off.
That's messed up. All right, children. So
You want to hear a fun fact about Pitt baseball?
what's that about Pitt baseball?
You want to hear a fun fact?
What's that?
They stink so bad they don't even charge people to go to the games.
Really?
Yeah, they just want people to go to the games, so they don't even charge.
That's rough.
Oh, and by the way, the high is going to be like 44 degrees on Friday. Yeah.
I feel
Well,
like that would be the case for every team up north, though. Like,
Yeah.
don't they have to play like their first 20 games on the road because it's so cold?
Yeah, that's why you see them playing in all those tournaments the first 2-3 weeks of the season, just because it's brutal. Yeah, to everyone's point, they're a decent club. Their coach is really good. Like, he's really made it a point to stay there at Pitt to build that program. He's definitely had some opportunities to leave because he's that good of a coach, but he wants to build his legacy there, and we should have the advantage in pretty much every part of this. If we can just go up and pitch, we should be fine. Now, we did struggle earlier in the year when we had some cold weather, so I'm hoping that's not going to rear its ugly head, but yeah, as long as the guys are okay with some cold weather, put the long johns on, the turtlenecks, and go out and get a sweep, or at least go get a series win. But a sweep would be nice. But before that, we're playing down in Kannapolis tomorrow against Davidson.
Yeah, and there's going to be a Wolfpack Club social as well. So if you're making it for the game, the social starts at 4 p.m. So make sure to go and check it out. And first pitch at 6 p.m. I believe, if I'm correct. So be a good one. Keep it going. Got to build some momentum for this weekend.
Sure.
But two sports in particular I want to give shouts out to. First of all, got to give a shout out to NC State softball coming through, getting the ACC series win over the weekend, 2-1. For me, this is not really kind of a headline in terms of a big upset or something like that, but it's just, hey, we're finally moving in some positive direction here for sure. I mean, and a team that has shown a lot of positivity, a lot of promise, but just hasn't really been able to break through that glass ceiling. So hopefully this is a little bit of a sign of what's to come. Definitely was able to get some great hits. I believe I had 10 hits in game 2, and as you see here, 8 hits in game 3. Yep. So, and I mean, pitching's been pretty solid. So just got to build off it and continue to build here. And I have no doubt with Lindsay Leftwich that this will continue to happen. And a very exciting also to walk-off home run as well in game 2, I believe as well. So love to see it. Carson, were you able to follow, cover this game much?
Well, I was just in Florida for spring break, so my
how dare you?
How convenient.
I know. How convenient.
My engagement with softball in the past week or so has been pretty minimal.
Sure.
But I will say that at the few games that I have gone to for softball, I can tell that the players love Leftwich.
Yeah.
Like she is addressing the culture really well there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. It's definitely disappointing that this season hasn't started off stronger, but I really do think it's just a little bit of just something's got to start going our way, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Shout out Carly Maxton.
Carly Maxton, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, that's going to be a name that not many NC State fans know that maybe should start to know more as well. So,
yeah.
All right, Greg, you want to get a little bit of insight for those, or you want to just get people to look up why
well,
that is important?
Yeah, I mean, she threw a one-hitter over the weekend. She's top 10 in a lot of stats for pitching. And, that was the first one-hitter since 2022. So, yeah, big.
Good one.
Yeah, she's a really good pitcher. I don't know what year she is. I'm still trying to learn softball with all the players and everything, so I apologize, but hopefully we have her around for a few more years, because if we do, watch out.
Yeah. Well, and watch out as well, too, to the whole ACC when it comes to tennis, because it's crazy, dude. Like, and Megan, I know that Greg and I had talked a lot about this last week, so Megan, I want to hear from you first here, but I mean, NC State's become a tennis destination, man. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, NC State tennis is elite. It's gotten to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you must say about it. That their programs are rolling right now. And so they can really feature themselves across the country as being a tennis school. Like, I think that sells for those athletes. And having some, like on the women's side, having the professional athletes too out there is really good. So, and
Mm-hmm.
There's really more out there for you, Leighton. Honestly, they're just rolling right now in tennis.
Yeah.
And the best thing about tennis, like the home games, the home matches, is you can literally there's picnic tables on the hill. You can literally just go and have a picnic and watch tennis.
Yeah. No. And I mean, and that's not even like you can be at the picnic table and not even technically be in the game. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you can still get in the game for free even too. So
They're all for free, and they usually give away stuff.
yeah, they usually are giving away pizza or Bojangles
They
or
gave away some
something.
rally towels a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So again, y'all, like there's no reason whatsoever why, we shouldn't have a good NC State support net every single, match. I mean, especially because I mean, if it's raining, then there's an indoor. It's really not weather dependent whatsoever. So again, y'all, just huge shout out to men's and women's tennis, and just got to give them mad love and respect right now for what they're accomplishing, being easily consensus top 5 teams in the country right now. But Ken's, would you say could we see something unprecedented this year with men's and women's tennis, or do you think this is just going to be a blip on the radar for the season?
No, I mean, our women's tennis team did this or had a huge season a couple years ago. I mean, our tennis teams are really good. It's just people don't really pay attention to them, which is sad. I used to love going to tennis matches at state. Like it's free. You get your points up. You get to watch our teams win. Usually it's a fun atmosphere. It's like not hard to do. You can just walk to it just like the baseball field. But I think that, I mean, I feel like we've been a tennis program for a while, both men and women's. It's just, like I said, we aren't on the level that some of these programs are. But I mean, to be at that level, you've got to get to it. So I feel like that's what we're doing. And all the coaches as of right now are impressing me. So it's like,
100%.
Except the men's basketball.
well, he's not our coach anymore. He's in the portal, remember?
Well, and
First big hire for Luke Horgan. So
well, and speaking of too, have we heard anything yet on when the Why Not Both documentary is getting rescheduled for?
That pissed me off.
hey, look at this right here. Look at this right here. Still got it.
Hey, yes, right here, baby. AC champs. Let's go. Still repping it all day. So, yeah, and I mean, like, is it?
Greg's looking for something.
Yeah,
Actually, I have
Greg's
a fun.
already showing he's not a fan. There you go.
No, I actually have a fun story, but we'll when you're ready for the fun story, I'll transition over.
Well, the last thing or the last question to kind of wrap it up for us guys is so, Kosh, let me ask you first. What's your prediction for the women's tournament? Who do we face, and do we make it to? Do we win Natty? And if we don't win the Natty, then how far do we go, and who do we lose to?
Well, I made a women's bracket earlier today. I'll pull it up. Okay. So my final 4, I got NC State, UConn, South Carolina, and Texas. And then I have NC State beating South Carolina in the championship.
So you have USC in the finals.
Wow.
I knew he was going to do that.
Greg, I don't see Southern California anywhere. Oh.
Isn't his name Cocky?
That's what Leighton's being right now.
You're lucky I couldn't hear you. What?
Yeah. I said your hat looks nice.
So as I was saying, I have State beating U of SC.
I love it.
Game.
Love it.
Well, that still doesn't help because that's University of South Carolina or University of Southern California. Which one is it? Gosh, that didn't help me whatsoever. I'm still struggling.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man. All right.
If
Good.
we have to explain it to you, then that means you don't get it.
Macon, what's your prediction, brother?
I was actually looking at it right now. I don't know. I like what Carson said. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd just be curious if he has State in the Final Four, who beats UCLA? I guess in your bracket, Carson.
We
State.
do, right?
State does. Okay. What's Final
Yeah.
Four?
I just had us playing UCLA, and I just imagined a game where Isaiah is just really hot and doesn't miss at all.
Proves that she should have already been an argument for top 3 or 5 players in the country.
Yeah.
Kens, what's your prediction?
I mean, we all know my prediction is. I don't care who we play. I don't know when it is. I don't care.
Natty, now her phone blows up again.
We're gonna win a Natty, and I've called it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real. I'll be the first realistic prediction here, and I'll have us losing in a close one to UCLA. I think it'll be a great game, but just they always say no rebounds, no rings, and I think that that's gonna be a tough one. What's that?
I'm thinking they always say that.
I've never heard of that saying.
That's the
No
first
rebounds,
time
no
I've-
rings.
Never
Yeah.
heard of it. I mean, what
I
did
sounds
Rodman
good.
come up with that one?
Just like defense wins games. It's so
Championship. Yes, we know
Defense
that.
wins
That's a real
championships.
one. That is real.
no, and so is no rebounds, no rings. Oh, come on now.
Offense
You
wins
got to control the
championships.
board.
So grumpy.
Hey,
You got to control the
Layton,
board. All right.
Layton, I believe you, Layton. Let's just end
You
it
got to
now.
control. Come on. Are we really about to sit here and say that?
Are you really
that-
gonna put
that-
this on a T-shirt? We copyright this thing
No.
tonight.
Oh, come on, man.
I would
All
buy
right.
one.
Dude, no rebound, no rings. All right. So, yeah. So anyway, Greg, what's your prediction? And then tell us the daggum story. Jeez,
Wow.
you've been a pain. You've been a pain in the side for multiple
He's
people
been
here,
mean
Greg.
today.
You're going on timeout.
I think I'm with you, Leighton. I hate to agree with you, but I think I will. I just think the inside. If we can find an extra switch, an extra level with Tilda on the inside, I do like our chances. That Duke game to me, and then for the year has been a struggle. Rebounding has been struggle too many times, and then if a team decides to go zone on us, if we're not knocking down shots, we're in trouble. And so for those reasons, I just think we just don't quite have enough to get there. I want to be proved wrong so bad. I'm not trolling for our ladies, obviously, but again, I'm tired of setting too high expectations and then just them getting crushed from football this year to men's basketball. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm level setting my predictions and hopefully they exceed them. So I'm going to do that. Yeah.
All right. And what's your story, Greg? And wrap
All right,
us
real
up here,
quick,
bud.
real quick. I got a text from Alex Sosa a few weeks ago. He was at the Red and White shop, and he sent me a picture. And the picture was of this thing right here, this gnome. I don't know if you can really see it,
And that's
but
supposed to be you.
he asked me if it was a little Haas. So I actually went out and bought it. And then I did my hat like this. Like who wore it better? I don't know. Probably the gnome still, but anyway. All right. Not as cool as it sounded. Whatever.
I think, Greg, you should go to a baseball game with a gnome, a real
No hat.
I bought one.
Oh, boy.
That's awesome. That's
There we
awesome.
go.
Yeah.
Let's
maybe
get on that.
maybe it's our new version of the Rally Monkey. Maybe we take the gnome hat all the way to College World Series. So whatever it takes, I'm willing to make a fool of myself for NC State wins. You heard it here first.
As to get a TV appearance, that would guarantee it's going to happen.
That would definitely, yeah.
All right, Wolfpack Nation. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did, first of all, where we broke down all things regarding this state men's basketball coaching search. Even talked a little bit of women's basketball as well. Greg, are you dying to get in one more thing?
Yeah, we need to start a poll. What day is the head coach named for NC State?
Ooh.
It'll be a Friday.
You think it's Friday?
Yeah, I think it's a Friday. People can go on the weekend, have fun with it. But usually you announce bad things on like going into a weekend. It's usually how a news cycle goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on when he wins or loses. Or I guess when he loses.
So I think it's a 3:15 or 3:45 tip on Thursday. I think that's what it was. I don't remember the exact one, but I know it was somewhere around there.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think it's a weekend. Honestly, if the guy we think is going to be, we hope it's going to be, loses, which maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I think it's a weekend announcement. Maybe a Sunday announcement. Who knows?
I mean, I would guess it's probably, if it's truly going to happen, it would happen.
And it's who we think it is. That's
right.
the other thing, right?
I think it would happen, in my opinion, within 24
Why don't they
hours.
wait until Monday? Maybe they would wait until Monday if they want to do it right. Honestly, if they had the guy, wait until Monday. They have the whole week for all the new stuff to talk about it. So
maybe
right, because the whole weekend's just going to be full with NCAA tournament talk, right? So you're right. Maybe Monday is the day to talk about it. Yeah.
Yep.
All
and
right,
we'll be here, and we'll be here
Just
on the Tuffy
curious.
Talk Live show. Yeah. So make sure to tune in, y'all. Hey, on Monday when the news gets announced, you can tune right in here and talk through with us.
Celebrate it.
And celebrate it. Assuming that it's where there's a Will, there's a Wade.
And there's definitely a Wade Avenue. So let's go.
Ooh. Oh man, that Wade Avenue street sign would have no chance. Yeah, no chance whatsoever.
It'd be gone.
It'd be gone. So With that being said, Wolfpack Nation, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this conversation, do us a big favor, hit that like button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, do us a big favor, leave us a 5-star review. Greatly appreciate that as well. And make sure to follow us at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. We'll see y'all soon. And as always, go Pack and beat Vermont.